Is this stuff in the...
No, you're perfectly fine. So essentially, I'm gonna be over here, and you're gonna be talking to me, not the camera.
Okay.
Kind of like in an actual like interview setting.
Gotcha.
I'll move this out of the way anyhow. I will.
Medic 1, respond to breathing problems. 1113 Linden Drive. Medic 1, respond to breathing problems.
And at any point, Chief, so...
Here, put that red one up, and that way nobody will come in and bug us.
Respond on channel 2.
And then we can turn this off in here.
Yeah. And so this will roll through the whole time. If at any point during any question you need like a moment to think or what I tell people is like if you say something that you didn't like really want to say or something like that, all this stuff will be cut up during the video. But what I would also like to use these videos for is like when our members retire, like it'd be really cool to play these, you know, their retirement ceremony.
No, I think we got some cool opportunity for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, did we do one with Haslam?
We have not done with Haslam. Would you like to?
I would like to do one with
Absolutely.
Haslam.
We can do that. I can get in contact with him.
Yeah, because you know the whole theme is kind of like where we've been and where we're going. So I think he represents where we're going.
Absolutely, absolutely. We can absolutely do that. Let me see. Alright, make sure all my camera stuff is set up. Fine. And I'm gonna lower this just a tad. There we go. I'm gonna raise that.
We need to rearrange any of this.
No, sir, you are fine. I'm not even seeing that. So you are good. Perfect. This works awesome. Good deal. All right. And we are recording. So these are, like I said, supernatural interview. There's 7 questions that are very broad, and they leave a lot of room just to kind of ramble if you feel the need to. Talk about whatever it is you want. If you want to dive deep into something, feel free to. I mean, I have all the time in the world. So our first question, we're going to go ahead and jump straight into it. So our first question is, what is your name, your rank, and how long have you been with the Burleson Fire Department?
Great. My name's Casey Davis. I'm the fire chief, and I've been with this department since January of 2004, so right at 23 years now.
And thank you for your time, Chief Davis. We're going to jump right into it. First question, how has this department shaped who you are as a person?
That's a great question. So I've been blessed to be a part of this fire department since I was in kindergarten. My dad was a volunteer whenever I was a kid growing up here, so I literally have spent my entire life in this fire department in one time or another. And so growing up as a kid, I spent a lot of Saturdays and afternoons at the station hanging out with my dad and his friends and the other volunteer firefighters, and really fell in love with the fire service through that time. And then on into junior high and high school, my dad operated a explorers program for junior firefighters, and so I got to be a part of that, and we got to train and spend time on the trucks and spend time learning about the fire service and about service and doing service projects and doing different service projects out in the community. So really learning what it is to be a firefighter, what it is to serve a community, what it is to put others' needs above yourself. And I think it really helped shape who I am as an adult now, and my passion for service and my passion for Burleson specifically. And then of course my dad, he retired from being a volunteer firefighter, and when I graduated high school, he asked me if I wanted a new truck or if I wanted to go to Fire Academy, and so he paid for me to go to Fire Academy, and I haven't looked back since. And I started my career, and I met my wife, and she was here, and at the time I was working down in Canyon Lake for Canyon Lake Fire Department, which is several hours away, and all of my family was here, all of her family was here, and we decided to start a life together. And so Burleson was testing. I came back home, and I was fortunate enough to get hired. I got hired to finish staffing Station 2 back whenever that was all going on. And myself, Chief Jacobs, and Claude Scally, who's an assistant chief over in Crowley now, we all three were hired together, and we were the first paramedics that they were trying to recruit. So all three of us were paramedics. The department wanted to move more towards an ALS system at the time, and so we were the first ones that they went out and recruited and hired for that. And we were some of the first outside hires as well. Most of the people that were hired prior to that were people that had volunteered and kind of came up within. So even though I'd been a part of the department, through my dad, I didn't volunteer here, so I didn't come in through that natural way. But I did have a deep connection with the department. So then I got hired here. I was very young, had a new wife, and had a new baby. My first year of being here, and really grew up here very fast. I learned to be a father, learned to be a husband, learned how to be a firefighter here, and got to serve, and then have been blessed to promote through the ranks all the way up to fire chief now. And so it has always been a part of my family. It's always been a blessing, and a sacrifice for the community, and I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful to have a purpose in life, and Burleson Fire Department has provided a huge purpose in my life.
Thank you. A lot of good history. Across that history leads us right into this next question. How would you describe the bond between those here at the Burleson Fire Department? You've seen it throughout the years. So.
It's something really important to me. So one of our guiding principles is tradition. And it's something that I want to make sure that we remember. And so with my unique history with the department, growing up in the fire department, and then getting, the opportunity to be a career firefighter here, then come up through the ranks here, and then to ultimately get to the blessing to be the fire chief here, I've got to see the different relationships along the way. I got to see the camaraderie of the volunteers and the passion that they had for it. I got to see how we were growing and changing the department as we became a career department, and we wanted to professionalize a lot of things. Especially like specialty rescue, and go dive deeper into those things, and make sure that we legitimized ourselves with our peers, in our own mind's eye, if you will. And so getting to see the difference in the relationship that you have with those that you're on shift with, versus the rivalry with the station across town or the other shifts at the same station, So that's been incredible. But back to the tradition, one of the things that's important to me to recognize is that we stand on the shoulders of those who came before us. There was a lot of people that did this job in this town for a long time for little to no compensation whatsoever. And then we became a career department, and the whole point in that, the whole reason why the city council went that way, was that we would have the best response times that we could to give our citizens the best chance of survival or to save property whenever we found ourselves in an incident. And so that's something I've always been very passionate about, was that there were people that did this job for free, that now we were compensated. What a blessing it was to get to do this full-time, pursue this passion full-time, but also have a means and a way to take care of your family outside of having to give up additional time away from your family like the volunteers did before us. And so I want to make sure that we honor those that came before us. I want to make sure we honor our history, and I want us to recognize that we couldn't be where we're at today without all of those that came before us, that volunteered, that got this place started, that built a lot of the foundation that we're standing on now as we move forward. And we're continuing to do that now. I feel like we're really coming out, and we're answering some big questions for us about what kind of department we're going to be that's going to set us up for the next 50 to 100 years. The foundation that we're building now, the next generation will stand on those shoulders.
Would you say the bond between those here helped shape who you are today as a fire chief?
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, this place has had a huge impact on me, and I didn't aspire to be a fire chief. I aspired to be the best Burleson firefighter that I could be, and each time I found myself in a promotion, it was because I wanted to make this place better. I wanted to make Burleson Fire Department the best it could be, and so, I right timing, very blessed. A lot of things fell in line for me to find myself in this situation. But my whole goal always has been, how do we be the best department we can be? How can we deliver the best service that we can be? And how can we take the best care of our firefighters that we can to make sure that they can have a healthy life and a healthy balance between family and work?
Absolutely. So we'll go into our next question. And you've seen a lot of change. And this is a two-part question. So over the course of your career and what you've seen, how has the department changed?
It's a great question. I think that I've got to personally see the department change from a group of people that had always had a heart for service, but it was much more, it was a group of people where they not only did they get to serve and they got to save lives, but they also found their social network, So that's how the department was whenever I was a kid. It very much met a social need for a lot of people at the same time of being able to serve the community. And so because of that, I think there was the professionalism that comes with the ability to focus and train every day on the department changed quite a bit. And so whenever I first got here, I remember one of my very first shifts here, I opened up the EMS kit, and I had come from Canyon Lake, they were a department that was over the EMS system, and then they absorbed the volunteer fire department. So they were a very advanced EMS system. And so whenever I got here, I was shocked to see how far behind on EMS we were. And so first couple of days here, I'm pulling the EMS kit off. I open up the EMS kit, and it's literally half-opened equipment and dirt and dust and debris all in the bag. And I'm asking where the checkout sheet is, and people are looking at me like I'm an alien. They don't even know what I'm talking about, And to see it grow from that to where we are now, where we have state-of-the-art equipment, we went into the ambulance business. We train more now than we ever have. I think we're better prepared now to take care of our citizens than we've ever been. I think we've empowered our firefighters to be the best versions that they can be as professionals. One of the other things that I've seen change over the years is how we take our health. When I first got in the department, working out was an optional thing, and it wasn't taken as seriously. And as a matter of fact, the way we would, if we frustrated the fire chief back then, that was one of the things that we get messed with, was when we could or couldn't work out and things like that. And how we've transitioned into making sure that we're taking care of people's mental health and physical health, and that it's a standard. And so seeing that improve has been incredible, And then just the advancement in the technology. Whenever I first got on the department, we had one thermal imaging camera, and it was huge. I mean, you had to hold it with two hands like this. It was ridiculously huge. And then to see us transition into these small cameras that we have multiple of them on every apparatus now. So lots of change in the years. To see us get a true rescue and to train on rescue. Many people in the department became hazmat certified. To see what we've done with radio technology now, where there's a cell phone built into our radios, to where we have a redundancy backup built into that. I think we're doing this the best that we can, and we've improved over the years quite considerably. And those are some of the big things that come to mind that I can think of that as we've changed over the years.
Awesome. And that leads us into our next question. What do you hope stays the same?
What I hope always stays the same, and what I'm probably the most proud of for this department and this community, is that we have, even though we've changed, even though we've grown and we've professionalized in a lot of ways, we've never become that department that treats our citizens poorly. We will bend over backwards to take care of our citizens, and that has been a thread that I saw always whenever I was a kid growing up. I've seen it always as coming up through this department, and it's something that continues to this day, is that our true mission, the real reason why we're here, is to deliver the service to these citizens. We don't have a mission without them. So going back to our patch where it talks about duty on our patch is that we have a duty to these citizens that they trust that we show up ready and prepared to deliver this service. And so I hope that we never get to that place where you see some bigger cities where they start to lose compassion for their citizens, or they have burnout to that degree that they don't go above and beyond. But I'm extremely proud of our people that we serve well and we always consistently go above and beyond.
Awesome. Thank you. If you could give advice to any current Burleson firefighter or new Burleson firefighter, what would that piece of advice be?
So the advice that I always like to share with people is, I think I'm an example of this, is that I'm not the fittest firefighter. I'm not the smartest firefighter. I think being humble and just showing up every day, putting your best foot forward, can get you very far in this career. So I think having a service mindset that, we're going to keep working the problem until we come up with the solution, no matter what it takes, is kind of been my mentality coming up through the fire service, and it has served me very well. Now, I will say that I have probably given more than I should, to the sacrifice of my own family sometimes. And I have an incredible wife who will quickly remind me of that when I'm getting out of whack with that. But I have a deep passion for the fire service and specifically for the Burleson Fire Department. And I just want us to deliver the best service we can, and remember our true mission is to serve the citizens that pay for us to be here, to pay for this service. And I don't want us to ever lose sight of that. And so it's incredibly important to me that we stay focused on that. And
I like it. Thank you. Our sixth question. So you've been a part of this community for a long time, you're still a member of this community, and obviously you've seen the relationships between the department and the community. So what does this fire department mean to the community of Burleson?
I think the fire department here is a staple in the leadership and the pride of the community. I think our citizens are proud whenever they see our trucks rolling down the street. I think they have blessed us with the investment of the equipment and the training and the staffing that we need. I think we have an incredible group of leadership between our council and our mayor and our city manager who have helped invest in the equipment and the training and the things that we need. So I think this department to this community, it just represents the commitment level that we're willing to take care of our citizens. And like I said, I think our citizens are proud of what they see whenever they see us represented. It is 10-to-1 phone calls that I get for our firefighters where someone wants to tell me about something great that our people did. It's rare that I ever get a phone call where someone is upset about something, but when we do get that phone call, we take that really seriously because we don't want anyone to even have the perception that we've messed up. Because it's even more rare that we find that one of our folks has done something wrong. Usually it's a misunderstanding or a perception issue, and providing a little bit of education to the citizen can usually clear that situation up. So I think that's what we represent to the community, is that we're a department that is going to be responsive to their needs. We're going to show up on their worst day and hopefully protect them, the lives of their loved ones, and their property.
Absolutely. And our final question, you can think about this one if you need to, but if you could describe the Burleson Fire Department in one word, what would that word be and why?
I think community. I have a saying on my email that goes out where it says, our people, our community, our commitment. And so whenever I think of this department, it represents community. We're part of this community and we're here to deliver a service to them. And the community needs us, but we also have our internal community. We have our people that we have to take care of. And so to me, it represents a purpose of community, that we're here together for each other. And because we're here together for each other, that helps us be the best version that we can be. And so, like I was saying with my email signature, our people, we got to take care of our people first and foremost. We got to make sure that we're hiring the best, that we're training them to be the best versions that they can be, that they have the physical health and mental health that they need, because in the middle is our community. We have to go out and deliver to our community. That is the mission. That is the core mission every single day. And at the end of that is our purpose. So for me, I think we're part of several different communities. We have our internal community where we take care of each other, and we're part of the brotherhood and sisterhood of the fire service, and it's an honor to serve in the fire service. It's an honor to be a Burleson firefighter. But then we get to go out and serve the broader community, and we're a part of that. Many of us live here. I know I've basically lived my entire life here, and so to have a purpose to serve, serve above self in this community. So I think community to me is what that represents, is that, a lot of times, as we've grown and this at Burleson has gotten bigger, I don't think we've lost that small town feel where we still care about our neighbors, where we still care about each other, and we still want to show up and deliver that, whether it's looking at an old black and white photo from our history. The mission hasn't changed. The same men and women with the same level of service and heart for community showed up back then whenever they weren't getting paid, versus where we're blessed to have the resources that we have now to go deliver that same service as we've gotten busier and more sophisticated as a community.
Awesome. Thank you. Any final closing thoughts? Anybody you'd like to thank, or anything you'd really like to say?
Well, I think I want to thank my dad. He's the reason why I got into the fire service, was watching him growing up in all of this. He's the one that definitely gave me my passion for this, and got to see service to the community as a child growing up and continue that. I want to thank my wife. She has stood beside me and sacrificed just as much, if not more, than I have, as I've given a lot to this community and to this fire department. And I thank God for the blessing of the opportunity to get to serve here, and then just to remember all of those that came before us, that we stand on their shoulders, remember our tradition, remember where we came from, remember the men and women who did this for free before we ever got paid to do it, before this was a career department. And just, I thank all of our current members that they entrust in me and the direction we're trying to go and grow together. And then just thank our city manager, Tommy Ludwig, for entrusting the department to me and giving me an opportunity. And thank our council, our mayor and council, for their support and entrusting in me and providing the resources that we need as we continue to grow.
Awesome. Thank you. We're good.
All right.
That was awesome.